Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Well, welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. I do hope you are well and getting results that you need with your teams. It's very important, as I say every week, that you deliver results as a leader and a manager. We are definitely judged on results, but results need to have people around you, and you need to make sure that you're doing the right thing by those people. You should not be driving for results at any cost, and that's a big thing to remember. Anyway, let's talk about this week's show. This week's show, I want to talk about imposter syndrome. Now, you've probably heard of this before. Imposter syndrome is way that many leaders and managers feel when they are in a role. You know, they feel like that they are an imposter. It's exactly what it says on the tin. But what is imposter syndrome? Well, it's this persistent inability to believe that the one thing you are good at, the success that you've got, is deserved or has been legitimate. You know, your achievements and the results you've done of your own efforts are not yours. And people suffer from this imposter syndrome. You know, it can increase their anxiety, it can affect their day-to-day, and in some real extreme instances, the imposter syndrome makes people actually quit and not be in the business of leadership. Because I think all of us at some point have that feeling of, really, am I that good? You know, it's a natural thing. Some of the things that you think in your own head, you never say out loud, you never say to anybody else. But you think you're a loser, you don't think you're doing the right things, people are going to figure you out. Look, it's common. It gets to every one of us in every single sense of a leadership. So first things, don't worry about it. It is normal in some regards to have a feeling of this imposter syndrome. And most of the time it passes because you get great feedback from your boss, you deliver the results, you get a good team around you, and it soon disappears. Delivering results and getting success, you can have a feeling sometimes that you don't deserve it. But remember, you're working with a team. Your ability is to get the team working. So, of course, you will have success and you will be able to deliver. So don't try to worry. So I think the first thing to think about when you do get imposter syndrome is it will happen. Understand that that is part of the natural process of a human. Unfortunately, we have a go at each other. If you don't, if you're lucky enough never to have felt this way, then fine. Some people have this total confidence in the way that they are, and they have that ability to say, I'm fine. I know I can do it, so I'm fine. People, go with it, can on the reverse become very, very fearful. They fear the fact that they're going to be found out. They fear the fact they're going to be unmasked as being some incompetent and being unable to really replicate their success. So you do that. Again, it's all about the fact that you, as a manager and leader and as a person, can take on board that you will be perfectly good sometimes and you will get things wrong the other time. But you beat yourself up about the wrong things. Sometimes you beat yourself up about the fact that you're not as good as you think you are. Or in your own head, you're not as good as you think you are. Well, where does it really affect you? Well, you normally works from past events. So something's not gone so well, something's gone a little bit wrong, and you start to think, this is always going to be like this. Say you lose a job or, you get passed over for a promotion. Then you have this feeling of failure in the past means that you have a perception of failure in the future. You could be a perfectionist as well. That's something you really got to watch out for. If you are a perfectionist, and of course, everything is not going to be perfect, you could start then feeling like you're an imposter if you don't deliver results every single time. So how do you deal with being an imposter syndrome? Well, like I've said, understanding it is the first pillar of fixing it. So if you understand that from time to time you are going to have these negative feelings, you might have a chance that they are a passing, fleeting feeling, or they could become even more severe. They could cause anxiety. They could cause this fear. Well, okay, you understand that's going to happen. Normally they pass. Normally they're going to disappear. So as with a lot of things that happen, this too will pass is a great line from the Stoics. You know it's going to pass. You know you can work through it. So the imposter syndrome will pass away. If you have had bad results in the past, learn from them. But don't anchor yourself to that being you. If something hasn't gone to plan and you haven't got what you wanted, then you can learn, you can realise what's gone wrong, you can build a plan for it never to happen again. Of course, the more practical way is to ask for feedback. If you do feel that you have issues in regard to promoted too high, or you're not feeling that you are in the right position in work, then you can always ask for feedback. 360 feedback from people or managerial feedback from your leaders. I know myself, I've been in positions, I've worked in different companies, and there is a moment where you think, oh wow, do people really think that I know what I'm doing? Most of the time, they do. They do think you're good at what you do. So you should try not be as harsh on yourself. I know that's easy said than done, but don't beat yourself up. Don't start to spiral into a negative, closed mindset. If there is some things you do have weaknesses, genuinely have weaknesses in, then of course, look at improving that. How do you get better at those? How do you get trained? How do you look at your gaps? If you think you've got an area where you're not as strong, how do you go and fix it? Look, the imposter syndrome is a real thing. It can persistently cause inability in your beliefs, and it can obviously then start to drive these ideas of suffering from the imposter syndrome, and it can increase anxiety and risk. But thankfully, most people will pass. A lot of people, you won't even know that they've got it. They know in their heads that they think that people are looking at them going, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But the majority of times they've not. So again, don't beat yourself up. Well, that's it for Manager Matt this week. Of course, I feel like I'm an imposter if I don't ask this question. Please send me your feedback to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or put a comment wherever you can see me. I'm on my socials or on LinkedIn. I'm under Matthew Haddock. Come and find me, ask me a question, and I'd love to engage on new and old topics. As I say, feedback is such a gift. So if you could just give me that, it'd be brilliant. Well, that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful, and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider, as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.